Give me strength! Dual wield!
Disney crossed with Final Fantasy. On paper, that sounds silly. In execution, it's very silly, but ended up being greater than the sum of its parts and making Kingdom Hearts a franchise that is still going strong. Fans have been eagerly awaiting news for the next game in the Kingdom Hearts series, Kingdom Hearts 4, which is a bit misleading as it isn't the fourth game in the series, but I digress. Announced in spring 2022, news has been quiet on the game. So where's it at? Let's put on our analysis hat and see what might be happening with the next adventure for Sora and friends. Before we start the video, it'd be helpful if you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell as well for notifications on future videos. With that out of the way, let's begin.
Say fellas, did somebody mention the door to darkness?
To understand Kingdom Hearts 4, we have to look at the long road that was Kingdom Hearts 3. The development of 3 is intrinsically linked to another major Square Enix game, Final Fantasy XV. For a quick recap, 15 was announced in 2006 as Final Fantasy Versus 13, a part of the Fabula Nova Chrysalis series for Final Fantasy. Tetsuya Nomura was directing the project and development was slow. Square's Crystal Tools engine was being used to make those games, and it proved difficult to work with. It took around 4 years to get 13 made. It released in 2010 to decent reviews and sales, and led to its own trilogy focusing on Lightning's Armpits. As the 13 series kept going, many wondered what happened to Versus 13. It popped up here and there, but just vanished after 2011. Ultimately, the PlayStation 3 and the Crystal Tools engine just could not realize Nomura's vision for Versus 13. In 2012, then Square CEO Yoichi Wada took Nomura off of Versus 13, and for it to be directed underneath Hajime Tabata. Versus 13 was retooled into Final Fantasy XV, and it released in November 2016 to a mostly warm reception. Personally, I think the game is great, but it is a title that shows its scars of development in the final product. You can play it via PlayStation Plus, and it is worth a try. For more of an in-depth review of the game, I made a big recap last year. I even dressed up as Prince Noctis. My bros thought I looked like John Wick, so guess who I dressed up as for Halloween? So with Final Fantasy XV finally being realized and it being mostly worth the wait, where is Kingdom Hearts 3?
常に胸を張れ。カップヌードル15当たる。
Ideas for 3 had been kicking around after Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix released, but it didn't go into full development. We got several side games, and since this is Kingdom Hearts, they are still important, but no proper 3. At E3 2013, after constant rumors, 3 was formally announced. In hindsight, this upset Nomura, as he felt like the game was announced too early. But hey, at least it was nice to know that something was being made. Now, when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, a lot of blame gets leveled at Nomura and Square as a whole, justifiably in many cases. But remember, Kingdom Hearts is a collaboration with Square Enix and the House of Mouse, Disney. Disney is very protective of their IPs, just ask Capcom about it. Disney has a lot of rules about how certain worlds can be portrayed across the series. While an issue in earlier titles, this protection was elevated to new heights in 3, with Disney not wanting too much anime in Tangled and Frozen. Nomura was also dead set on having Pixar worlds in 3, to the point where he said he would not make the game unless he was able to. Now, Pixar was enthusiastic about having their movies in Kingdom Hearts, but took their sweet time getting back to Nomura's team for approvals. They really wanted to be involved in the development process, which is nice but also drags things out. In between dealing with Disney, getting approvals, Square incompetent leadership, I almost forgot to mention that after a year of development, Square forced the dev team to change engines. Just a small detail, and Nomura doing a billion things at Square led to 3 being put into a bit of a development hell, though not as bad as something like, say, Final Fantasy XV, Neo, or The Last Guardian. Let's drink to forget that one. Throughout 2017 or so, Kingdom Hearts would get more trailers, showing that
It's all coming together.
Kingdom Hearts 3 released in January 2019 to mostly positive reception. I reviewed it at the time and my opinion was the gameplay was a lot of fun, the production values were top notch, and some of the worlds like the Toy Story level were very creative. However, some ideas weren't fleshed out, the game was a total pushover, even on Proud Mode. Some worlds like Arendelle and Corona were seriously undercooked. My favorite part of Arendelle was when Elsa sings Let It Go out of nowhere, which, even by this series standards, is bizarre.
Wow. I don't know what we just saw, but wow.
That about sums up the whole situation. Then Hans shows up out of nowhere and you end up having a nasty boss fight against him. If you hadn't seen Frozen at that point, you would have no idea what you spent the past few hours doing. The Kingdom of Corona wasn't much better, and what's a poorly aged name. The biggest issue with 3 was that the game was too backloaded. The first 2/3 of the game is basically just running around Disney Worlds having a fun time. Then the plot kicks in the last 3 hours of the game and it's just too much info. And without wishing to spoil the ending, it isn't a conclusion to an arc, but more so setting up a new arc. Not helping was that there's plot details from the mobile game, Kingdom Hearts KHIII and 3, and if you haven't played KHIII, those story bits would have gone over your head. Overall, I think Kingdom Hearts 3 is a good game. A bit disappointing in some regards, but I still had a fun time. Calling it one of the worst games ever? No. It's not even the worst Kingdom Hearts game, and I'd rather play Recoded over, say, Mario Sunshine or Zelda Skyward Sword ever again. Plus, Square patched Kingdom Hearts 3 with some updates, including Critical Mode. If you haven't played Kingdom Hearts 3 yet, I highly recommend playing it on Critical. It is so much fun and a healthy challenge. And in 2020, we got an expansion with Kingdom Hearts Remind, which gives us new playable characters, more challenge, and one of the most badass boss battles in gaming history. Again, without wishing to spoil anything, it looks like Nomura's vision of Versus 13 is getting realized. As of April 2022, Kingdom Hearts 3 has sold over 6 million units, making it the best-selling game in the series. Since Remind, Square has put Kingdom Hearts on the back burner in favor of other titles, but we still see Sora and friends pop up here and there. The merch never stopped, including designer watches and a $2,100 chair. I hope someone lost their V card on that thing. In 2020, we got a rhythm game called Melody of Memory, a decently fun rhythm game and the first Kingdom Hearts game on the Switch. I bought this copy for about 20 bucks and it should have launched at that price. The mobile game Kingdom Hearts KHIII ran its course, and there's the big one, Sora finally joining Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as the final fighter. What a way to celebrate my birthday. And I got a little bit of the feel seeing that trailer. Sora has become my co-main along with Pit, and I think Sakurai did well by Sora in Smash Bros. Sora in Smash was a huge undertaking. Talks for Sora's inclusion goes as far back as Iwata being involved. While Sora couldn't have joined Smash 4, a chance meeting with a Disney rep allowed Sora to join in Smash Ultimate at the 6th hour. I and most others thought that Disney was the issue blocking Sora from Smash, but as it turns out Nomura was hesitant about it. Something about ruining the lore of Kingdom Hearts. Oh Nomura, you crazy bastard. And Square released the cloud ports of Kingdom Hearts on Switch. All of them. And they are all terrible. If your only system is a Switch and you really want to play Kingdom Hearts, beg your parents for a PlayStation 5 and get the story so far. The Switch ports are just not worth it. My day was going quite well, then I had to remind myself of the Kingdom Hearts ports to Switch, so here's another one to you, Square Enix. As for Disney, 2019 was one of their best years with 7 movies reaching $1 billion at the box office, including Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame, which were both awesome, Toy Story 4, which was okay, as well as the live-action remakes of Aladdin and The Lion King, plus Frozen 2 and Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. I saw all those movies and they are all terrible. I've never seen a fumble as bad as The Rise of Skywalker. I could have gotten drunk that night, but no, I wasted my money seeing that day one and I thought that movie was utter crap. Still do, actually. The Rise of Skywalker, what a waste of a night that was. Well, time to make up for lost time. Thankfully, Dune is filling that void of sci-fi space epic in theaters that we all needed, so good job to you, Denis Villeneuve and your team. Both those movies are better than like 2/3 of the Star Wars movies, and I'm very excited for Messiah. The theme parks were raking in the cash, Disney finally bought Fox, and Disney Plus launched later in 2019, so Square and Disney were doing well. Hopefully they would continue this momentum into the next, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, the pandemic hit. The world had a hard time dealing with the virus. Lots of games and movies had to get pushed back so people could get used to working from home and for movies to be filmed in a safe way. So if there was to be a new Kingdom Hearts game, it was going to be a minute before we would hear anything. After 2 years of silence, we would finally see our first glimpse of a new title. In spring 2022, a trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4 dropped and took the internet by storm. The graphics looked amazing and had some intense action. Sora and Strelitzia looked great in this art style. Who's Strelitzia? She's from KHIII, and I haven't played that game and I don't know if I'm saying her name right. Whatever the case, she must make some serious cash to afford an apartment in Aoyama. It's a nice neighborhood, but you have to be loaded to live there. Maybe she sold Sora feet pics. If your knight on the town outfit is some beat-up sweatpants and an arrow hoodie, you don't make enough money to live in Aoyama. This is not a knock against Era, they are wonderful people and they make wonderful music. And it ended with Goofy and Donald doing their part in trying to find Sora, and it looks like they went to James Woods for help. While the trailer is short, it gave fans a good amount of info to work on. What Disney worlds would we explore? Encanto, Raya, and Moana levels would translate well into game form. What's up with this version of Shibuya? Will Star Wars and Marvel finally join Kingdom Hearts? It would be better than The Rise of Skywalker. The sky is the limit. Originally, the plan for Kingdom Hearts was to go into Verum Rex, the game within the game that Rex is a big fan of. But Nomura did not want fans to worry about Sora, so they jumped straight into Kingdom Hearts 4. Good call there. In addition to 4, a new mobile game called Kingdom Hearts Missing Link was announced and is launching in 2024. 2 years later, we are still waiting for news on Kingdom Hearts 4. Square and Disney are like people who are Balenciaga. They might look like they are doing well, but at home they sleep on a cardboard box and cannot afford more than buttered toast for all their meals. Square Enix is a curious beast. They make some absolute masterpieces like Dragon Quest XI, Neo The World Ends With You, and Nier Automata, but at the same time they publish crap like The Quiet Man, Left Alive, and Various Stay Life. I didn't make that up. That is an actual game you can buy, but you're not gonna. After 3, Square seemed to put most of their energy into Final Fantasy VII Remake, which launched to a solid reception and sales. The 7 Remake trilogy is another one of Nomura's productions, on as creative director. As of the making of this video, the second game in the Remake series, 7 Rebirth, is out. I have not played it yet, but I want to because of Tifa's knockers. I was more of an Aerith guy, but Tifa is making it hard to stay loyal. Looking at Nomura's Wikipedia page, he seems to be a busy dude at Square. It hasn't been said, but I imagine splitting Nomura's focus between Versus 13 and Kingdom Hearts 3 is one of the reasons why both games took forever to make. His diet probably consists of nothing but cup noodles, Red Bull, sea salt popsicles, and cigarettes. Despite some amazing games, not everybody is buying. Titles like Octopath Traveler 2 underperformed, Dragon Quest XII and 3 HD have entered development hell, and Final Fantasy XVI just kind of came and went. It sold well, but not enough to offset losses from Square. Hell, Square flat out sold their Western division in 2022. And not to say it's all been bad for Square. The 7 Remake series has been killing it, and 14 is still a huge game. And Square has been doing a good job of bringing back older titles like Saga and Front Mission for new gamers. As an outsider looking in, Square has boundless talent and ambition, but not the best leadership. One more for you, Square Enix. You botched the release of Neo The World Ends With You. I really hope we get a new game in that series, but kinda doubt it. As for Disney, they've had one hell of a journey since 2019. Don't worry, I'm not going to make one of those hour-long why Disney sucks kind of videos. I just want to go over the big points. Bob Chapek took over for Bob Iger after his retirement in early 2020. Since then, the parks have become insanely expensive, several movies were delayed and had not so good productions. There were some notable lawsuits. Disney Plus has been a money sink in the never-ending piss battle that is the streaming wars. Multiple crap movies, and they bought Fox. Despite some W's here and there, too many blows in a short amount of time combined with the pandemic caused Chapek to step down and Iger take up CEO duties once more. Even with that, Iger's return to Disney has not been the smoothest, with films having huge budgets and constant behind-the-scenes drama. One of my favorite examples of Disney incompetence is MCU Blade. They teased the character at the end of Eternals. It's been 3 years. The script for Blade has gone through so many rewrites. There's been so many directors going through that movie. There's already 3 Blade movies. How Disney and Marvel have not been able to get a new movie made is amazingly incompetent. I've seen more than a few people say that Eternals is one of the worst MCU movies, but I don't agree with that at all. It's not one of the best movies, but it is worth a watch. Plus, Blade is in Eternals, which was really cool, but if they can't get that Blade movie made, it'd be all for naught, and I don't think we're getting a sequel to Eternals anytime soon. All of this coalesced into Disney's 100th anniversary, with one clear win, some 50-50s, and a bunch of turds. I've seen most of those movies since, and yeah, they all sucked. Though The Marvels isn't as bad as people say it is. It's not a good movie, but a perfect movie to throw on in the background while you are doing your taxes or whatever. This isn't going into the writers and actors strike of 2023, which Bob Iger had some very out-of-touch comments about. The strikes cost the movie industry somewhere around $6.5 billion. The best indication of 2020's Disney is Wish. A princess movie that is usually a home run for the company made less money than Aquaman 2. Wish, a movie that is so messy that people honestly think AI had a hand in writing it. And I could almost hear the movie breaking its bones trying to connect the Disney canon together. Nomura was probably angry if he watched that movie. I think Wesley Snipes' Blade sums up 2020's Disney better than anybody else.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
On the video game front, Square and Disney did collaborate a few times, with Crystal Dynamics making Marvel's Avengers, a games-as-service title that was buggy, not good, and died off after a few years to no surprise. I made a non-review of that game, knowing that it was going to be bad, and big shock, it was bad.
Agreeable grunt.
Eidos made Guardians of the Galaxy, which is considered much better, but didn't sell so well. Given those titles were made by second parties that Square has since sold off, I'm not sure how that affected Disney and Square's relationship. So that brings me to the main question.
Where is Kingdom Hearts 4? Where is it?
I do have to stress this is pure speculation on my end, so I could be wrong, right on the money, or somewhere in between. I think with Disney's internal issues, box office bombs, stock issues, and their reputation being lower than it has been, I think they are being very cautious with how they go forward. More than likely, it comes down to one thing. It's all about that money! I can imagine they are charging more to license out their IPs, and are being more involved with how their series are being represented. Bob Iger even thinks that they need to focus more on quality over quantity. Or maybe with all of Disney's issues, they are taking their time to get back to Square on how to approach a Kingdom Hearts 4. Disney and Pixar were a major factor in why 3 took forever to make. They don't want to damage brands like Frozen or Toy Story too much. Disney can do that themselves. And if Star Wars and Marvel are going to be in Kingdom Hearts, that's only going to add more to stress, time, and costs to 4. Speaking of which, game development as a whole has gotten more expensive. Take for example Spider-Man 2. Supposedly, it had a $315 million budget. It sold well, but Sony still had to lay off people. I can only imagine a game as big as Kingdom Hearts 4, with its graphics, music, licensing fees, voice acting, will probably cost more than that to make. And it's not like all of Square's games have been doing gangbusters. All of that, plus dealing with Disney, must be slowing things down. It's like going through bankruptcy just for your spouse to say that they want another kid.
I want more kids!
I do have to stress this is all speculation. Don't quote me in another video. Or do, I need the views. I'm sure Disney and Square want Kingdom Hearts 4 to be amazing. If it sticks the landing, it will introduce more people to Square and Disney works. If it underwhelms, that could potentially damage both brands. At the end of the day, I just want a great game. Square certainly has the potential to make it, and if we have to wait a little bit longer for it, so be it. But maybe don't ghost your fans for the better part of 2 years. I bought this bottle of whiskey at my local supermarket for around $10, and it's not quite as smooth as, say, the Yamazaki, the Hibiki, or the Nikka. For $10, I can't complain. And no, I did not say it, Nikka is an actual brand of whiskey in Japan, and it's quite delicious, I might add. Ideally, with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth being out, Square will put more energy into Kingdom Hearts, we'll get more info soon, development's going smooth, and it will totally crush and be better than anything Disney put out in 2023 and more than likely 2024. Really, this is all just hopium for me to get more Kingdom Hearts information soon, because I've had Kingdom Hearts on the mind for the past few months, and I just wanted to make a video talking about it, and here we are. So the ball's in your court, Nomura, Disney, and Square Enix, and validate this video. But I hope you enjoyed it if you're watching, and we'll just leave it at that. So leave me some comments. Are you excited for Kingdom Hearts 4, or what is your favorite Kingdom Hearts game? Let me know down there in the comments, and while you're down there, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell bell for notifications on future videos. Feel free to follow me on all the social medias such as Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at ZMangs, and with that, I will see you in the next video. Later everybody, take care.